Hello everyone, I am Captain Shaw. I'm mostly a retro gaming VTuber over on Twitch. Sometimes I do reaction content. In this case, we're watching Exposing the Gambling Epidemic by Coffeezilla. And now, I've seen this floating around and I wanted to comment on it because I have seen so many ads for online scammy casinos and stuff. It's not even fun anymore. Anyways, let's hop into it.
Changed. It used to be you'd lose your money on slots in Vegas, but today, not only can you do that, you can also bet on your favorite sports team.
Not interested.
Coin toss, on this individual pitch, or on all three in a parlay.
Not
you can do it from your phone, your tablet, your Apple Watch. You don't just have to gamble on sports, you can gamble on esports, on video game items.
I'm pretty sure half of these things are illegal too. Like, yeah, the video game thing, the loot boxes, that's just the scamming.
On slots with those items. You can do it in Roblox, or on regular stocks, on meme stocks, gamble with calls, gamble on earning calls, gamble on calls with earning calls. You can gamble on political events, world events. You can bet if Zelensky's going to wear a suit before July, if Jerome Powell's going to say inflation 50 or 60 times in September. You don't just have to gamble on that. You can gamble on crypto coins, Trump coin, Dogecoin, Fartcoin. You can gamble on the champion of Fartcoin coin, and you can gamble on any of the posts the champion of Fartcoin has ever made on whether they will become popular.
What's the point?
And if none of that's your cup of tea, you can also just gamble directly within your banking app on a game of roulette.
Really?
Like a gentleman. And don't even get me started on the ads. If you turn on sports, esports, podcasts, not even my favorite political.
I don't even watch sports and stuff, and I still get ads for fucking these sports bet crap, and it's just like, I don't care. I'm never going to use you. The more you force it, the less likely I will ever be inclined to use it. I'm not dumb either. But it's just like, please, get your shit out of my face.
Show is safe.
Shout out to PrizePicks, the best app to fire on sports in the game.
You will be bombarded with gambling ads by every famous person you've ever heard of.
DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook.
DraftKings
Sportsbook.
Uh-oh. How
It's the new Raid Shadow Legends.
did we get here? And is it a good thing that we're turning every spare moment of our lives into a game of chance?
No, it's bad. It's actually corporate greed. We've already covered this in the gaming video, more or less, that I did. If you're not aware of that, go check that out too. But no, it is insane how much of this has just been like, nah. And I blame the old people in charge of the country. They have no idea what the hell they're looking at.
Chance. I'm betting no.
I am betting most people who are doing these laws don't know what the hell's going on, and it's just fancy wordplay to get around it. Trippy intro. Yeah, we are in a hellhole.
There are three things responsible for gambling becoming more mainstream, but the first and biggest trend is simply the mainstream becoming more like gambling. See, Silicon Valley learned a decade ago that gambling mechanics are incredibly good for user retention, so they put them everywhere.
Silicon Valley needs to be shut down. There are a bunch of morons over there, it feels like now.
Let's say you're shopping online. Well, now you can spin a wheel to unlock prizes.
Don't
or
care.
if you're playing video games, you can open a loot box, get some randomized items. You can even
Yeah, I'm more or less done with the loot box mechanics in video games. It's just like, yeah, no, not interested.
use those items as virtual currency in a casino we've made a 3-part series about. Or maybe you don't have a problem with loot boxes for adults, but we've also put them in kids' video games because you gotta start them young. Roblox is the largest game for minors, and they are stuffed with randomized loot boxes, but
if I recall, Roblox is now underneath a class, like an investigation due to its other problems it has going on.
even if that's fine for you, what about the third-party websites which, against TOS, allow full gambling based on a kid's game? And yes, there are actual kids gambling on these apps.
Right, I just won a bit of profit there. I had 200 Robux. No, I had 200 Robux in profit, 100 Robux in profit, but I lost them. But I had 50
This
Robux.
is going to cause a lot of gamblers in the future.
So on this,
and mostly people are not going to have any money to their name.
What I'm going to do is buy 40 crates now. No, not
The new
40
generation
crates,
is
but
screwed.
like 44 crates. That looks good. This one.
It's not
Let's go.
actual real RNG, I feel. It's just shit stick. The digital ones.
Let's go. We're in profit. Let's go.
It is absolutely disgusting to see that. And look, I spoke to an insider who worked on this website, Roblox Wild, before it got shut down. He shared data which claimed they made $5,000 a day, or roughly $2 million a year. Thankfully, this website got shut down, but third-party gambling sites
That's more than I make in 2 weeks. in a day, and I hate this. I hate this pump and dump funneling thing, whatever the heck's going on, because I can bet your ass a lot of the money scamming going on is not going back to the United States or the country that it's being played in. I bet you it's being shipped off, laundered, and put somewhere else.
Still persist because copying casinos makes a ton of money, and that's why we've been putting it into everything.
Maybe we should just ban casinos. Get rid of it all. Just get rid of gambling entirely.
Including our politics. Prediction markets are the answer to the question of what if we could YOLO on election results and world events. The biggest websites are Polymarket and Kalshi, which have exploded in popularity during the American election cycle.
Look at that CGI
but
Trump.
It isn't just major events that attract bettors. I was recently asked to investigate whether this was a suit that Zelensky was wearing. Why?
Who cares?
Well, the prediction market had bet $200 million in betting volume on this bet. Some of them were really mad that they decided, no, this is not a suit, I guess. Whether you think it...
Actually, I would say it's a suit. It's more dressy than most people wear. But anyways, I don't care either way. I'm not placing a bet on this stupid shit.
is or not.
I place metaphorical bets. And that I would place wagers based on logic. And it's not money involved either.
The volume of betting here is insane. And one reason for that is because these companies are exploiting loopholes that allow betting even in states where normal gambling is illegal. Because these companies say they're not a casino, so they don't fall under the same rules, which is why instead of having to be 21, you can now gamble at 18 on prediction markets. And while there have been legal challenges to this, both of the major companies, Kalshi and Polymarket, have recently brought on the president's son as an advisor.
That is stupid. That is beyond stupid. And that doesn't help anyways, because he's not going to be the president forever. Like, he's only the president for so long. And again, Trump is old. If anyone down there has common sense, which I doubt it, he would get voted out as soon as he hit 80 anyways, because that's what they did to old Biden. Oh, he's 80. He's too old to be the president. My philosophy is, if you are past the age of retirement, you should not be running a country. You should be retired, and that should be the end of it. Like I said, the age for running should be like 45 to 60. That's it. That's the age group you could run for like political offices. That way you're old enough to kind of be in touch with the olds and still young enough to be in touch with the young people too. But not so old that you're a fucking decrepit zombie, basically.
Making it hard to see how they're gonna be meaningfully regulated. Meanwhile, all the major betting apps are busy launching their own prediction market copycats to get around the same weak rules that we still have regarding betting. And don't even get me started on the other loopholes that are out there. Have you ever heard of the TikTok of sports wagering?
This is Cheddar. We're building the TikTok of sports wagering.
Not interested.
Legal in 20 more.
I'm glad I am not giving a shit about sports at all, because this, like, sports for me back in the day anyways, before the internet, you could say, it was fun. It was enjoyable because it was just watching people play the game for the heck of it. If you made a bet, it was a gentleman's bet, a handshake and all that at someone's party, and that was it. You lost $20, maybe.
States than DraftKings, accessible for 18 to 21-year-olds.
That's just
live,
predatory.
In-game, micro betting. Swipe to predict
Fuck
every
off.
moment of every play.
I'm gonna stop you right there. If you missed it, Cheddar is a new startup trying to combine DraftKings, TikTok, and Tinder features into one app. And one of the things they brag about is they're allowing 18 to 21-year-olds as a competitive edge. Guys, can you believe the untapped market of teenagers for gambling?
Yeah, can you believe probably most teenagers don't watch your fucking sports either, I want to bet. Unless you're actually, like, into the sports. Most people are just like, oh, yeah, sports. That thing.
Now, to be fair, Cheddar has not launched yet, but this is obviously the future we're heading towards, turning everything into a maximally addictive gambling product.
It's sports wagering with the pace of a slot machine.
Yeah,
I hate it.
Isn't that the most dystopian thing you've ever heard? We're trying to turn sports betting into slot machines. I mean, the funny thing is this whole product...
The whole thing was probably written by ChatGPT.
...is built around yet another loophole called a sweepstakes casino, and that's how they get around the 21-year-old age requirement. Here's how it basically works. Sweepstakes casinos claim that you don't actually need to purchase anything to play, so it's kind of not gambling. In fact, you can get free coins to access their games, but they also have a second currency which you can buy. Well, not buy. You get it for free when you buy the worthless coins. For example, their website says if you buy 100 cheddar coins, you get 5 bonus cheddar cash. And that's usually what you can gamble with and redeem for real money. This is actually how Stake US works.
Sounds like a lot. It sounds really bad. Like the ratio that you get for what you pay sounds horrendously stupid.
If you didn't know, Stake International is one of the world's largest casinos, but they aren't allowed here in the United States. So they have an American arm, which is a sweepstakes casino, which has gold coins and stake cash. One Redditor explains how the loophole really works. Quote, 1 stake cash is 1 USD. They only use gold coins because they need to say that you aren't gambling with real money to stay open in the US. Except, of course, you are actually gambling with real money. They just have a virtual currency workaround, which basically everyone has figured out. Some casinos are just kind of more honest about it.
So how long till the lawmakers say, hey, no, like, we really got to change the laws down there. Like, this is getting out of hand already. I can see this. Like, it's infected YouTube that has nothing to do with sports or anything. Like some of the stuff I've watched on YouTube at work and whatnot. Not my main account here, my alt account. And it's just like the radio has it on its ads for stuff. It's like, no, stop. Guys, have some integrity. Actually say no to these shitty sponsors. I don't care if they're sponsors. They can go fuck themselves.
Than others. Cheddar's basically saying the quiet part out loud. They're going after 18 to 21-year-olds with TikTok, Tinder, sports betting at the pace of slots. And by the way, people are betting on their success. They're actually in a cohort of startups invested in by a Silicon Valley investment firm called A16.
How much of this is just a big old circle jerk? I'm just saying, like, it's like someone is benefiting from this. Dude on the right looks like he's gonna die of heart failure at any moment because he's so red.
But if you think that's a bad idea, now let's talk about banks and gambling. I recently made a video on Yada, which was a fintech, which is a complicated story. We've done a ton of work on here and here. But basically, the original pitch was a no-lose lottery, which gamified savings. Lots of YouTubers worked with them, and they acted like a bank, at least at first, until they switched their new business model to be about allowing you to gamble inside the app and lose money, essentially becoming a casino within what is essentially a bank account. Now, I should actually note that Yada recently shut down the banking side and have fully focused on the sweepstakes casino part. I guess it's a more profitable business, but it's a sign of the times that everyone is moving their app more towards gambling, and finance is going the same way.
It's not a sign of the times. It's just terrible.
On August 19, 2025, the investing app Robinhood announced they are bringing sports betting prediction markets to their app. In the announcement, the vice president of Robinhood claimed sports betting was a, quote, no-brainer, as we aim to make...
No, the no-brainer here was the CEO has no brain. That's the problem is. The CEO literally has no fucking brain.
Robinhood a one-stop shop for all your investing and trading needs. AKA, we noticed people were leaving to other apps. We don't like that. We'd like you to never leave our app.
Again, just flat out ban gambling everywhere. Problem solved. I know a lot of people will hurt for it, but you know what? The only people that are hurt from it are the people who are actually skimming from it and actually, like, getting a cut. And you know what? I don't care anymore. They should just be done with.
Now, ironically, the very next day, FanDuel, a sports...
The only gambling you should be allowed to do is in a physical, actual casino. That's how I look at it anyways. Like, you should have to actually go to an actual physical casino or an establishment that is licensed to let you gamble and nowhere else. That's how it used to be anyways. Like, hey, now it's everywhere and it's just like, no, this is gonna stop.
Betting app announced they were bringing stock market betting to their customers.
But I will ask you about what some call the gamification of markets. Why this move? Why FanDuel? Why now?
Also, a lot of these places, you can look up on the Better Business Bureau and find out how much, like, FanDuel, for example, I believe is actually listed as an actual scam on Better Business Bureau. One of them is. I don't know if it's FanDuel or not, so this is allegedly by me. Allegedly. You can look most of these companies or casinos up and find out just how good their business rep really is, and a lot of them do not have good reps.
For us to have a partner like FanDuel and be able to have 14 million accounts on day one.
So what happens if one of these big companies like this, someone wins huge on it and they get cleaned out more or less? Like, what happens?
I'm not becoming a casino, contrary to popular opinion. I didn't buy a casino. These are markets that will be offered to the general public, and we think is massively exciting of what it could do.
And you couldn't have a more perfect
This guy is too old to be running anything.
image of how finance is embracing the casinos and vice versa. Actually, correction, you can have a more perfect image, because after I wrote this, the New York Stock Exchange's owner invested $2 billion into Polymarket.
For fuck's sakes.
So actually, this is the perfect image of where we are. And a result is a lot of young people now see the stock market as kind of more like a betting market. The most popular group on Reddit is
That's kind of like how the stock market's always been in a way. You always took a risk and a bet. You just took a risk with the stock market. I know nothing about the stock market, only that it feels like it's going to crash again soon.
personal finance with about 21 million followers. In second place, Wall Street Bets, where gambling on the stock market is embraced and celebrated. It grew the most during the meme stock craze of 2020, which shifted how some people thought about investing. Instead of being driven by earnings, prices, or fundamentals, people gambled on memes, attention, and vibes. People are chasing bigger returns and taking on bigger risks to do so. One measure of this is the amount of debt people are taking out to invest. Margin debt is at an all-time high of $1 trillion, which even on an inflation-adjusted basis is near all-time highs and up 5x over the last few decades.
That's bad.
Not only that, the rapid growth of zero-day options by retail traders is also a telltale sign. It's grown 5x in volume over 5 years, showing that people are trying to gamble more. Zero-day options are the stock trader equivalent of red or black at the casino. Fast action, massive wins or losses.
Like the only time I've gambled is in video games, and it's with not real money at all. You can't even use real money to do these games because the games are old. So it pisses me off so much. And the only appeal to me for gambling is a machine that doesn't even exist anymore, and that's a mechanical slot machine. Why? Because there's no digital RNG, there's no pity payouts or anything. It is completely mechanical RNG. There's no computers to fudge with it. So it is literally an RNG machine that cannot be fudged with, so you don't get a pity payout or whatever to keep you looped in. Fun fact, I actually own a 1940s mechanical machine.
On a single day. But if the stock market is America's casino, then meme coins are basically the back alley bookie who will...
Meme coins are garbage because they are literally just pump and dump schemes as far as I'm concerned. That's how I look at it from the outside anyways. It's like, oh, I knew a dude from I knew a guy who bought out the company he was working for with fucking meme coin.
Break your legs. Bigger price swings, faster action. Meme coins are even more degenerate than meme stocks and pump and dump usually within a single day. Among the people who trade these, Pump.fun is the leading destination as the one-click launchpad.
All these coins and stuff, these fake coins and whatnot, I don't even consider legal tender. I just consider them as, okay, yeah, you're just pissing your money away. You might, at least even Monopoly money is tangible, so it has more valuable than this garbage stuff.
Anyone can make a meme coin in seconds, and there is no value in it other than the expectation that someone might be more foolish than you and buy at a higher price than you did. And of course, Pump.fun is happy to take a cut and make most of the money. Most traders will lose, but now you can also get a cut if you're a content creator who pushes one of these coins. We've seen the same thing from launchpads like Meteora. They allow creators to have a split of some of the trading fees, and it kind of democratizes the grip.
I think I recall some big creators back when going into it and basically like, I forget who it was, but they were like basically paying off, like more or less bouncing it up or propping it up, whatever. I don't know.
Now, anyone can farm their followers and fans for money. You don't have to be particularly sophisticated. And that's actually how Trump made millions of dollars in fees with Trump meme coin without ever selling. He just farmed the fees. And to be clear,
this shit should be illegal.
Here, this money doesn't magically appear. It's being siphoned away from regular people who mostly lose. It creates a sad ecosystem where most creators are racing to the bottom for attention.
And I'm pretty sure this is the reason why the economy is such a shithole as it is. Like, I'm tired of these fake crypto coins and whatnot being a thing. Just do away with it. Make it illegal. Be done with it. Don't acknowledge it as real currency.
To get their audiences to pump their worthless coins, leading to a predictable spiral where most are scamming, rage baiting, or otherwise trying to shock each other into becoming the biggest grift of the day.
Gupsy got brain.
Thanks for the 20 bandos.
It's ripping.
The fuck is this shit? Oh my god.
If you've ever heard of a zero-sum game where someone has to win for the other one to lose, meme coins are negative sum because of all the trading fees. Most people, by definition, will lose. The real winner, of course, is Pump.Fun and people pushing it. According to one analysis, they've generated revenues of over $800 million for themselves, while almost none of the traders have made significant.
I hope they get taxed for all that shit. That's how it should be. They should just be tax the rich. The problem will eat itself.
Significant
It'll
profit.
never happen because the rich are the ones in charge.
According to one analysis, 0.4% of all traders will ever make over $10,000. So almost no one. And look, the reason we're going through all of this is to explain the many ways that gambling is no longer just about slots, cards, brick and mortar casinos.
And that's the way it should be, though. It should only be about that stuff and nothing else, because where it's branched out to is now like a horrible infection everywhere on the internet.
We've injected it into every conceivable aspect of our lives, and that has two effects. One, it's inescapable. You cannot avoid gambling by avoiding Vegas anymore. It's literally everywhere. And then two, it's also hard.
Like I said, there's ads for it on the radio. YouTube, some used to have ads for it at my work. On some of the stuff I listened to, it had nothing to do with sports or gambling or anything like that. It was just there. And it's just like, okay, this is completely not relevant.
To understand and study, because most researchers are studying like casinos, sports betting, but so much of gambling is not that anymore. So as we get to the numbers of this stuff, remember, everything's going to be an undercount. But it is still important to talk about those casinos, and that's where we're going to shift now. Starting with the biggest trend that has happened for these casinos, and number 2 on our reason, which is sports gambling becoming legalized. Rewind the clocks for a second back to 2018 when the Supreme Court overturned a federal ban.
God damn it.
At the time,
Re-ban it. Ban it everywhere.
Basically, you could only sports bet in Nevada. But after this, you can see in a few years, we've completely flipped on the issue. Most states now allow sports betting. And along with that, the advertising budgets for these companies is absolutely enormous. DraftKings, FanDuel, Underdog, Prize Picks, they've spent hundreds of millions of dollars getting celebrities and influencers to push their product every year.
Yeah, well, the people that endorse them are sellouts. I'll say it. They should have never endorsed them. This is just like...
And man, has it worked. As I'm writing this, the #1 sports app on the App Store is not sports. It's not ESPN. ESPN and the NFL are second and third. The #1 sports app is actually DraftKings. And in the top 10, half of those apps are sports betting, which is insane. There are 2 reasons for this. Obviously, one, hundreds of millions in advertising, but...
Lame and unoriginal. Please get a real... Please... I sound like a broken record. Just ban this shit.
The second is what are called inducements, which is when these apps will incentivize players to download them and place a bet, sometimes literally offering what seems like free money.
Literally, the Genshin pity poll system. Because, yeah, gacha games I consider gambling games too. It's basically a reason I don't want to play them. Because they're like, oh yeah, here, stuff. Because I will admit, I have wasted too much money on video games with the loot box system, and it's just like, yeah, I would rather spend the $20 for just a skin. I hate to say it, but I get it. It comes down to greed again. Let's see how much money we can squeeze out of players.
It's got an NFL.
I don't know why.
Play with me.
It's
just turned $5 into $150 in bonus bets.
New customers bet $5, get $300 in bonus bets if you win.
New customers
if
get
you win.
risk-free bets up to $2,000.
Now look, the reason casinos do this is kind of obvious. If they can make you place one bet, they're more likely to place the second, third, and 100th. But even setting aside the fine print of these weird offers, does it not strike anyone else as weird that we're allowing gambling companies to give away free stuff? Imagine the cigarette industry told you, buy your first pack, get 50 free packs free to get you started. Imagine Budweiser said, shotgun one, they'll send you a case for fun. It's insane. And yet, that's exactly what these sports betting apps are doing. It's the lifeblood of how they get new players. And once you're in, these apps will also cater to their biggest players, biggest losers, called VIPs. They will send them gifts as they spend their life savings. And there have been multiple lawsuits actually about this. And to make it worse, if you do the opposite and you actually win too much on these apps, they will try to limit your betting, as one investigation found.
If you show any real ability to effectively handicap a game and beat the sportsbook, they will limit your bets and essentially kick you out of the sportsbook. They will not let you win.
Can you talk to me a little bit about how sportsbooks treat you once you start winning?
They don't want to accept your bets.
Yeah, it turns out the casinos actually hate the exact play.
So wait, is that legal? That's the thing now. Is that legal? Can they legally do that? They go, oh, you won money. Well, we don't want you here anymore because you took our money. We want you to lose.
Player that's featured in all of their advertisements. The guy who actually wins too much money. Which is actually so crooked when you think about it, that if you're one of the few people who achieves what they're promoting, they actually don't want you. Now, as I was writing this story, another massive scandal actually broke in the sports betting world, which is even...
That's also why a lot of payouts on old, like, okay, I'll use the machine I have, for example. It's from the 40s, and it was from Prohibition times, but it has a very, very low payout chance. And since it's just me using it for personal use, it's not like it's... Okay, the machine uses nickels. That's how how old it is, and it pays out. Basically, it's supposed to pay out in tokens, but it basically just replays out in nickels again. The tokens were supposed to be something you would exchange for either cash value if the token was, or like smokes or a drink at the bar. That's how the machine was supposed to operate. But anyways, those machines from the 40s had a very low payout, so you'd be pumping in a bunch of nickels regardless. I don't know how much that would have been. Probably like $5 today. Probably like $10 today probably worth. I don't know what 1940s nickels are worth. Probably like $5-ish. I don't know.
More corrupt than not allowing winners.
But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years.
That's right. The FBI just exposed a massive sports rigging scheme that was using these apps to win money on rigged basketball games. One example of this was March 23rd, 2023, when an NBA player, Terry Rozier, told a friend ahead of time that he was going to go out early on a foot injury. And so that night, $200,000 in bets were placed on his underperformance because no one else knew that he was injured. And a few minutes after Terry kind of limping around, he left the game and the bets paid off. A few days later, Terry Rozier and his friend allegedly counted the money at his house from the fraudulent wagering scheme. And this was one of several rigged games the FBI alleged, but the media was quick to point out this isn't even the first time someone was caught doing something like this.
Jonte Porter, who played for the Toronto Raptors, has already pled guilty. He's already pled guilty. He's awaiting sentencing for doing just what Rozier and Jones are accused of. So this train has already left the station, Laura. And I have to tell you, when Jeff Teague, an NBA player, says, oh, there's betting everywhere, it is everywhere. I've done ads for DraftKings. LeBron James has done ads for DraftKings. In fact, ESPN, when they were reporting this story this morning, they're having programming, people talking just like you and me, talking about this scandal on the press conference the FBI was giving. And underneath them on the ticker was an ad for ESPN Bet, which is ESPN's own sportsbook.
Yeah, the irony of all of this is that the same people who condemn illegal betting going on are simultaneously pushing the sports books, which create the opportunity. And at some point, the producers on ESPN actually noticed it. And see if you can spot the moment they try to fix the sportsbook ad in the corner.
You hear a lot about legal sports gambling on this show. The Bussin' Boys, obviously sports gambling is a huge part of what you do, so we put those all out there as a preamble because it might be in the back of people's minds, and we acknowledge that this is a different time and place. However, there is a fine line, not so fine. There is a bold line that obviously has to be drawn.
Well, that's a little awkward. You're actually supposed to remove the ad for sports betting before talking about sports rigging. And honestly, we've only hit the tip of the iceberg here because we've since learned these professional leagues are useless at catching this stuff. Turns out the NBA already investigated Terry Rozier before the FBI indictment for that exact game. And they cleared him because the NBA commissioner said there was insufficient evidence.
ultimately concluded that there was insufficient evidence,
dude, you're a fucking skinwalker,
that aberrational behavior to move forward.
Right. So even with aberrational activity, they had the right game, the right guy, and the NBA couldn't find enough evidence. I mean, the more money that goes into sports betting,
we literally investigated ourselves and found nothing to be wrong. That is literally what just happened there.
The more this will be a problem, and the leagues are clearly not equipped to handle it. But people just look the other way because the money's too good.
Exactly, it's corruption. Corruption's taking a hold all over now, and it's just like, well, we have a problem. We actually need people to start cleaning up this place in more than one way.
And I want to now address the size of these betting markets because they're absolutely enormous in ways most people don't understand. And to get our heads around it, we're going to look at some survey numbers. One study estimates that 22% of all Americans and almost half of men my age have an online sports betting account. Another estimates that 1 in 4 people have placed a bet on sports, and 1 in 5 have placed a bet in the last year. Like with all surveys, there's margins of error here, but the data mostly agrees. Sports betting is very widespread and
I have never placed a bet for money. I have placed, like I said, metaphorical bet. Like, it's like, I'm like, hey, I bet blah, 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 kind of thing. And it's a nothing burger. It's literally nothing. It's just a saying for me and my friends. We don't actually place bets. The bet is just something stupid and ludicrous usually. It's like, hey, I bet like blah, blah, blah. Or like, it's like, hey, I bet I could kick this rock in the game or whatever, or, you know, something. It's just stupid stuff. It's not actually for money or anything. It's just stupid, silly stuff. And that's how it should be. The predatory, scammy nature of all this is just awful.
Extremely popular among young men. And for the ones who get addicted, it's financially devastating. One recent study looked at Americans' finances before and after sports betting was legalized by their state. They found that bankruptcy rates rise approximately 10% after legalization. Another paper looked at financial stability, noting that for households that do bet, they spend on average about $720 a year sports betting.
Maybe they should take a look at this and be kind of, I wonder where the problem is with the homeless and all the other stuff happening right now, besides like the job market being saturated and all that. Let's add a gambling epidemic on top of everything else, because you know what? That's what the world needs. That'll make everyone better. No, it won't. This is actually bullshit. I hate this world.
And the study found that for every dollar someone deposits for betting, there's a reduction in net investments of just under $1. As people gamble more, they invest less, which means their financial future is worse.
I'm also concerned with AI in a wild card, and that's like, how long till AI is being used to try to analyze bet systems to really break the system? Because it's gonna happen. Don't get me wrong. Like, people will exploit any loophole they can try to find, and I'm kind of concerned.
Makes sense. But this is especially true of problem gamblers or gambling addicts. To be clear, this is not something that affects all gamblers. Roughly 1% of the world population suffers from this. It's more common among people who bet regularly and bet online, two of the things that sports gambling encourages. Problem gambling completely obliterates people's finances and affects more than just the gambler, because as they beg, borrow, or steal to continue their addiction, they affect everyone around them. And I do mean steal. Roughly half of gambling addicts will commit a crime, and most of those crimes are to continue gambling, often leading to a spiral where the addict doesn't see a way out, which is why problem gambling has one of the highest suicide rates of any substance addictions.
Wow.
Full stop.
So it should be banned again, like I said.
I don't get it. You know none of this matters, right?
Yeah.
You've tried this before with
Wait,
Rubet,
it's a Star Wars robot.
CS2, and it did nothing.
Yep.
No, literally, I mean nothing.
Hey, at least he's trying,
Absolute
robot.
silence. All the moralizing, the anti-gambling.
You still go.
You're wasting your time.
Yeah.
That's fine. At least he's not gambling it away.
Let me tell you a story. A year ago, I was offered $20,000 to do a video by Casino. Now, I said no and made a whole series about it, but what I didn't tell you is that later I was offered $1 million to cover my legal fees in an ongoing case. Now, this was offered by a person who said they wanted to remain anonymous, no strings attached, very nice person.
Sounds fishy.
They said they wanted to just help out. Sounds great. But then I found out the money was coming from a sports betting company. They were one of the top people, and that's obviously a dilemma for me. I am publicly against gambling.
I feel like that was just done to him to try to make him take the money so they can be like, haha, he does do gambling money. He's got dirty money or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
And here this person's kind of privately telling me, well, gambling can pretty much solve all my problems. Pay my legal fees. You know, they're telling me, oh, their company's regulated. It's fine. It's above board. Bullshit. Ultimately, I had to say no. Thank you for the offer. But, you know, in my head, there's no such thing as $1 million, no strings attached. And, you know, obviously, I also can't take $1 million from a sports betting company and then go make a video criticizing sports betting. But it gave me pause and kind of gave me an aha moment that I was missing before, where I started to understand exactly how screwed we are. And this goes into our third reason gambling is winning. The casual way these casinos can throw around life-changing money for any normal person is why the data will never found life-changing money for any normal person.
Ew. Ain't no way. XQC does not need $100 million. And Kick is already a scummy platform, so...
Is why the data will never fix this. It's why having enough sad facts about addicts or interviewing people whose lives were ruined will not change things. Believe me, I've done it, and it's never moved the needle. To be honest, it's not even debatable that gambling is kind of bad for most people and life-destroying for a few. Even the industry kind of admits that. But the reason gambling is everywhere in spite of that is there is too much money in the game benefiting the people that make the final decisions.
Yeah, it's corruption.
Right? Think about the states with tax revenue, the casino profits, the influencer payouts. There's a small group that gambling is incredible for. So incredible, it basically defies logic. I'm talking billions of dollars in profits. And if you want to understand...
Yeah, unless those casinos go under, then those, everyone who's underneath them are also fucked. Like, royally, too. It'd be a huge collapse if something happened, like a law was passed and the casinos were like, had to be gone. All those huge people, all those influencers and people making money off of it, yeah, it would probably never happen, but if it did, it would be literally a royal flush. Pun intended, by the way.
Understand why gambling is everywhere. You can't just look at the statistics. You have to look at the money. And I want to show you exactly how this works with...
I don't remember who said it. I don't remember which villain said it, but the quote is, everybody has a price. And I forget who said it, but it's true. Eventually someone will cave if enough money is put in front of them. Like, yeah, if it's enough for someone like to stop, like $100 million, XQC there could just fucking retire and be done with everything. It's like, yeah, it's not a huge amount of money, but if you're smart with your money, that's it. You could just be living up the rest of your days and be free of do anything, basically.
An example. This is Matthew. He's better known online as Nadeshot, and recently he took a gambling deal with an offshore crypto casino.
Ew.
And when he first talks about the deal, I want you to notice it's a little strange. He almost seems hesitant.
Boys, we just partnered with Rootbet, and before I say anything, don't gamble. Okay? You will lose. I promise you, you're going to lose. But that's why I partnered with Rootbet, so they can pay me to gamble.
Interesting.
So, even when I lose...
What?
I'm still going to lose.
Yeah, pretty weird to hear someone say, don't gamble, guys, while announcing a partnership with a gambling company. Nadeshot implies that he may lose money, but in fact, he later admits that it's the most money he's ever been paid.
This is... the biggest partnership that I've had in my entire career.
No, instead, I think the hesitancy, the weirdness of this video is because Nadeshot knows pushing gambling is kind of bad for people. He said so in a podcast a couple years ago.
I definitely think
it is bad
that people streaming on Twitch, all the crypto betting, certainly incentivizes younger kids to be more interested in crypto gambling. Like, I know personally
that's an awful looking
people that should not have been gambling online, but because it's so easy to gamble with crypto, they did it when they could not afford to do it, and it has not worked out well for them.
Right. Nadeshot knows personally it's bad. But for the reason why he's doing it anyways, just fast forward 2 minutes in the podcast and we find out, because the host asks, a hypothetical. What if someone offered Nadeshot $100 million to promote gambling? And well, let's just say his tone changed.
I ain't turning down $100 million, bro. You got me fucked up, brother. I'll go on there and I will crypto gamble 24.
If it's something I don't like, it doesn't matter how much money you throw at me. I'm not gonna be interested. Like, I will stand my moral high ground. I'm sorry, but it's like, could I use the money? Sure, but will I promote garbage like this? No, I won't. You can take your money and shove it.
4-7, dude. At that point, man, it's the parents' fault.
I would rather be poor like I am and still have my integrity than be a sellout.
Hey, I'm just working over here. You're gonna pay me more than LeBron? Brother, I would be lighting up, cash on fire, gambling crypto. I would sell my soul for 100 M's. Are you fucking kidding?
100 M's now. 100 M, dude, if you were selling out like 100 M for a casino crap, you already lost your soul, and that's all there is to it. You're already gone.
Hey, dude.
We should clip this. We should send this over to Kate.
I won't sleep. I will be your workhorse. You want me to pump blue chews and crypto gambling? I will do it
in the
all.
background look awful.
You got me fucked up. Them kids, dude. Fuck them kids.
Look, I'm just gonna say, you can say he's wrong for saying that. He's a bad person for saying that. But the reality is, this is why gambling is winning. The casinos have so much money, they are buying people's souls. Even people who kind of admit gambling's kind of bad.
Yeah, well, greed is one of the 7 deadly sins, so this is where we're at.
Put enough money on the table, and Nadeshot says, hey, fuck them kids. And by the way, speaking of fucking them kids, let's talk about Drake.
W's in the shot.
It isn't just streamers or influencers taking deals. It's the biggest rapper on the planet.
I wouldn't consider him the biggest rapper, because I consider him... Okay, fair point, I don't listen to most modern shit because I consider it shit.
He signed a reported $100 million deal recently with Stake, the crypto casino, which is wild.
I'd rather sign $100 million with the meat steak. Just $100 million worth of steaks. Because that could keep me happy for quite some time.
There's really no endorsement deals like that anywhere else that hit those kind of numbers. And just like Nadeshot, Drake wants you to know that, you know, even though he's taking the money, gambling isn't for everyone. Recently, he posted an $8 million loss, saying, gotta share the other side of gambling. Now, maybe some of you think that's brave, but to me, I see that and go, Drake, that is the only side of gambling for most people. Yeah. If any normal person lost $8 million, their life is over and their legs are broken. You're the only one with another side.
Yeah, kind of funny because I've been playing through GTA games lately, and it's kind of like, yeah, it's not wrong with the casino money and all that.
To this whole thing, where, to be clear, that other side is reportedly getting paid $100 million. And to be clear, like, it's a lot of people taking these deals. I'm not trying to single anyone out. You know, let's also take Kevin Hart, right? One of the world's smallest comedians. He pushes DraftKings. And this one I find really bizarre.
Do me a favor, man. Go to the DraftKings app. Look at what I'm betting on. Look at why I'm betting on. Place your bets. All the action is here. DraftKings, Kevin Hart.
I'm not even going to ask why Kevin needs you to get on DraftKings and bet. Like, the fact is he's worth a reported $450 million. But the real thing I find so gross about this is that Kevin Hart has gone on podcasts and talked about the need for financial literacy. You know, he talked about this on Joe Rogan.
The biggest problem within our community.
Again, I've only heard of Joe Rogan in passing, not actually listened to anything he's done because I just don't care enough to listen to this guy.
Is knowledge. We don't know. Debt is welcomed because it's celebrated. That's all we know. The knowledge isn't given. So it's not till you obtain that knowledge and understanding that you go, oh, oh, this is why you put money up. This
kind of funny because this is so much different when I was taught in business class back in high school. Mind you, this was like back in the early 2000s for high school.
This is how you increase versus decrease. Oh, this is how you earn on your...
We didn't even have smartphones yet back then. We still were carrying around their Nokias. Shit. That was a long time ago. Shit, I'm old.
Money. Oh, wow. I can gain wealth by investing in what? The stock world is what? How many people partake in the stock world?
I don't know. It feels like this shit's rigged. Especially when with the way the game thing there was a thing. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. This feels. Again, I've never trusted betting because it's always been like, hey, this is literally an everything or nothing kind of deal. So it logically does not make sense to me to even attempt it. The few times I have, it's in video games that I've wanted certain cosmetics, and I hate myself for spending that much money on some of those things. And in the recent days, I've been more Scroogey with my money, so I've not been spending really anything.
And is there a part that isn't necessarily gambling? Is there a low-risk part? The information isn't there.
Yeah, Kev, maybe the information isn't there on the stock market part, which isn't gambling, because you're too busy telling them about actual gambling. Understand that Kevin Hart is not just a guy who sometimes talks about it on podcasts either. He has a whole partnership, an actual partnership with Chase Bank, where they ran a campaign to improve financial literacy.
What?
But then Kevin goes on the
So what? He did the complete opposite? He was even paying attention?
Side, and he's pushing DraftKings, which preys on people's financial illiteracy. And while we're talking about small
or is he just playing both sides to try to get the most amount of money?
Comedians with big bank accounts, let's talk about Joe Rogan too. And listen, I'm not trying to be high and mighty with all this stuff. I know it sounds a bit like that, but believe me, I am eye level with these guys, okay? I'm very short too. You can't tell behind the $10 million studio desk, but no offense is intended here. We got to discuss, though, how the biggest comedians in the world, biggest, smallest comedians, are pushing DraftKings. Didn't Joe get a $250 million deal from Spotify? I didn't realize before this video, like, how many gambling ads he has been running recently. In the month of September alone, there were 11 DraftKings ads in 14 videos. And with Joe especially, it's weird because he's the guy who rants against big pharma's manipulative advertising.
If you can advertise, you can manipulate people and change their opinion based on theatrics.
So many. Everyone gets a free bet.
We all want to win. Hey, let's win together.
You know what to do.
You have music and people dancing and holding hands and spinning around in a wheat field. Like, that is so manipulative. And we are subject to manipulation. And when it's something that is so important.
So here's a question. With all these wins and whatnot to advertising, could it literally be considered false advertisement? Because it's not like they're not disclaiming it on these ads that, hey, this is not real. This is a fake scenario. It's not like they're not saying like this could be you or anything. It's just like no, this is just someone random winning. And it's like, yeah, how much debt did they have before they won that way they felt that good?
Like making critical health decisions. There's so many of these commercials. Like, so many times I'm watching television, I'm like, how many goddamn drug commercials are there?
By the way, I agree with them. We are being manipulated. But change a few words from that rant, and you could say the exact same thing about how gambling is pushed. Casinos are also manipulative. They don't advertise the actual reality where people lose. Instead, they say things like winning, cashing in, opportunity. And Joe Rogan's a part of that.
It's kind of, now that I'm thinking about it, arcades are casinos for kids. Now, hear me out. It's because you have to go and play a game, get X far in-game or whatever the thing is. You get your tickets, which are basically your cash out, to exchange for something which is worth tons and tons of these tickets at the counter. But by the time you spend enough money to get the tokens to pay for the machines to get the tickets, you've basically already overpaid for what that thing is that you wanted.
Every game is another chance to cash in. Don't just watch the action, win with it. Every snap is loaded with opportunity.
That is just as manipulative as pharma ads pushing pills that may end up addicting you. In both cases, the collateral damage are the addicts we created along the way. And I guess I have to ask, maybe people think, oh, one's worse than the other. Is there that much of a difference between a drug addict and a gambling addict? No, really, I'm asking.
It's like if you see the drug addict, you see him, he's shooting up or whatever it is, and you see him fainting, you go, oh, that poor bastard. But when you see a guy who's fully in the grips of gambling, trying to figure out how to get his money back, and he's all jazzed up with adrenaline, he doesn't understand why.
It's just like cocaine. It's just like drug abuse. It's just like the opiate problem. It's just like anything else. It can You and I both know people who have lost their lives gambling. Okay, you've seen people in pool halls. You see how they get, Joe Rogan. There's no difference in the drug addict and the gambling addict. Not at all. No difference.
So there is no difference. Then why do we shake our head at the Sackler family and pharmaceutical execs who push pills that ruin people's lives, but somehow nobody cares we're doing a very similar thing with gambling? At every level of society, we are shoving this down people's throats. And it's not that I mind if people gamble individually, but we are pushing it on people who otherwise would not have done it, because everything is gambling now, from sports to entertainment to investing. It is totally inescapable, and we're moving the...
And it's in video games and everything else. Like, a lot of video games, like you said earlier, children's games, adults games, whatever. It has gotten to the point where it's just like, yeah, I think this needs to be reeled in some way, and someone really needs to take a look at it and take a stance. Which is why I'm glad loot boxes were banned in Europe, but they need to ban casinos and stuff too at this point. Or not casinos, keep casinos there, and that's the only place you can gamble is in a casino establishment.
Casino from Vegas directly into people's pockets, connecting to their bank accounts. I don't know exactly how this is going to end, but it doesn't take a genius to see where it's going to lead. Gambling is going to be a much larger problem for people, and especially young men. And the saddest part is there's no amount of data or facts that I can give you that's going to stop that. There's just too much money at stake.
Yeah, unfortunately. Anyone can pause this stuff, by the way, and read it too. My voice is starting to get hoarse, so... Yeah, it's pretty shitty.
Hey, come back to the bar and let me fix you a drink. The weather isn't changing anytime soon.
You know, all it would take is basic advertising rules or legislative change to put a stop to half of this stuff.
Yeah, but...
That's the thing. Money makes the world move, Coffee. And the people who write the rules like them just the way they are.
Yeah, because they're benefiting from it. That's exactly the reason why nothing's changing. Because we have so much corruption in the world right now that needs to be fixed. We need good people to actually get in and do the right thing. Regardless of the cost it might have. Like, Fallout be damned, people will be fine, and the people will be better for it after the shit is fixed and the fans cleaned.
Do you really think it's worth all of this, though? Like, just for a little more money?
It's not.
Hey, you said it yourself, didn't you? It's not just a little money. It's a lot more money. If people would sell their soul for $100 million, well, imagine what they do for billions.
You know, maybe it is time for that drink.
I can't blame him.
You're gonna tip this time, right?
Okay, guys, as always, the original, link to the original will be down below. That was infuriating for the most part, but also informative, because it's true, it's everywhere. And it's just getting worse, and it needs to be reeled in. So, I'm not saying, like, anything's gonna change now, but hey, actually push for changes, guys. That's all we can do as us, the consumers, the people who have to deal with this everywhere. It is annoying. It's a very annoying thing, and it... yeah, it's just annoying. It pisses me off. Anyways, good video, Coffeezilla. Hopefully we'll see more of him down the line. We'll see. Anyways, that's enough for now. That was a long video. Bye.